for us. Waiting.
Hello, how are you?
Whoa, hey, hi.
We're just waiting on a sec. I just came in last minute. Doing our,
I don't know what the hell you're saying, buddy, but it sounds good. No worries.
I got a crazy echo. I guess you're watching.
Oh, let me put the headphones in. All right, hold on, buddy. I'm not watching anything, but let's try the headphones. I don't hear the echo either. Let's do headphones. Okay, can you hear me still?
I can hear you. This is really disconcerting. It's hard for me to know what's going on because there's like a 10-second delay. Yes.
This happened last time. I'm going to get out and come back in. Hold on. Still echoing. Just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to mute it up.
Okay. We'll see what happens. That was really weird. I couldn't even.
The last time I was on
Okay. It's
StreamYard.
still echoing.
Oh, God damn it. I don't know why this is happening. This happened to me last time too. I don't know what to do. I gotta shut everything down and try again. I'm trying again. Can you hear me without an echo?
Let's see. No, I hear you with an echo.
God damn it. I don't know what else to do, guys. Maybe I'll just switch my browser. But why does this happen?
Yeah, try switching your browser.
I can't get it to stop. Can you hear me without?
Hello.
Can you hear me without an echo?
Let's see. Stand by. No, I hear the echo still.
I don't know what to do. I'm on a different browser. I've restarted my computer. I've left and come back. I don't know what else to do.
Let's see. Let me think about this for a second. Having issues.
I don't hear it.
Well, Suck is having computer issues too.
I'm gonna try and restart, man. I'll see what I can do. I'll be right back.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I'll see if I can look this up. Maybe see if I can figure out how to diagnose it.
Thank you. I'll be right back. Son of a bitch. whiskey.
Hey, Jackie, so sorry about that. That was totally my fault.
What was your fault?
I had the YouTube stream in the background on another tab and it wasn't playing. But then when I started the stream, at some point it started auto playing.
Oh,
It was
for
playing
fuck's sake.
back
So
the
this is
stream.
you.
I
You've
know, it was
caused
so
me
dumb.
stress.
But I never hit play. So I was like, what? And I finally figured it out. Sorry about that.
Oh my word. Okay, good. I'm glad it's you and not me because normally it's me, so this is good. Can
Yeah,
you
but
all
when
hear
you
me
said
okay?
the thing is when you said when you said that you've had this problem before, I'm like, oh, okay, it must be some other thing. And I realized like, oh my god, it was just playing the stream back to me.
Oh, Penguin. I thought I heard my girl in the background. Where's she at? Do I hear resonance?
Sec, you're here.
No, I hear
Say
no one.
something.
Anything. Hello, Sekaroony. Nope.
I hear
I
microphone
don't hear
noises.
nothing. That's me.
That's maybe
That's
you.
me. Mwah. I'm about to smoke a joint. That stressed me
He
out.
must not have. Yeah, sorry. He might not have headphones not on right now.
What?
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I also can hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Tell your
How was your
lady I
bike
said
ride?
what's up. Oh, it was amazing. It was a beautiful day for a bike ride.
Sweet.
10
Bicycle
miles.
or motorcycle?
Oh, bicycle.
Oh, I need to get back into bicycling now that I'm not commuting on it. I have a motorcycle now, and that thing has given me. It was cheap in Chinese, but it has given me a hell of a lot of problems.
Chinese usually do, don't they? Ah,
Well, it's one of those things that's so much cheaper that you can probably just if money's an issue, you can probably just fix it and upgrade it up before you can buy the real deal, which is just out of this world expensive for what you're getting. So I have my eyes on a dual sport bike that I might get one day that goes a lot faster.
KLM 250 or 400, bro. I used to have one of those. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I went to a pawn shop. We got a wicked deal on I mean, it was okay deal on a new in box tiller cultivator.
Yeah.
We are going to use the heck out of. But they have a Suzuki dual sport bike. It's
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
be wicked fast. So
It's probably a 400. Yeah.
650.
650. No, that's a nice bike, dude.
I know, $2,000. So
That's not
we'll
bad for that
see.
bike. Yeah. Anyway, I'm chuckling over here because well, shout out to Agora Acres, but they sent me seeds, but they sent them in like the old dime bag corner of the baggie tied in a knot, and
yes.
it's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
Your dime bag of seeds, homie.
It's the only time I actually wanted a dime bag of seeds. You know what I mean?
Did they ever did they use the lighter to melt up the
No,
sides?
it's just tied. It just knotted. See what I got? Parsnips. It's
That's
just
expert
sitting
level.
in. I don't even know what this one is. It's not labeled. I don't know what that is. I'm about to find out. Planting time.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I did zero
Right,
Earth Day
that's,
things, but we do Earth Day things every day. So
My whole life is Earth Day.
for real.
You more than me. You're the fucking landscaper. I'm the goddamn accountant.
I need an accountant.
I am one.
Do you do tax prep
I do.
and file like quarterlies and shit?
Yep.
All right, I might keep that in mind.
yeah, ditto.
All right, well, let's roll. Why is your picture a brick wall?
Cause I'm a brick house. I actually don't know. How do you like that?
Right on.
She has like stock photos she puts up, which is awesome. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure how you get it to be full screen, but I don't feel like playing with this thing ever again. I like the settings. I'll keep the monkey. I just found some random picture on my hard drive. Just keep the monkey. It's all good.
Just
I don't
keep
even.
All right.
I didn't do the my pirate thing. That's the same one that's on Telegram. I don't know. My lady must have done that. I don't know. No idea. But,
Well,
all right,
I like to
let's
do.
go.
I like to make this. I like to do as little as possible. I just pull this thing up, and all the settings are saved, so it works out really well for me. All right, and we're back. Welcome back to the Agora Podcast, your home for algorithm, localism, anti-authoritarian concepts, and radical decentralization. It's Penguin here with Sec Agora, and we have another exciting episode in our series. I think third in our series of women in anarchism. I feel very caffeinated up. Looks like I'm stuck in the house right now. Rain's coming down, but it's a beautiful day, beautiful weekend. Sec, how's yours going? Busy, I presume.
Yeah, man. Today was supposed to be a rain day, and it turned into just a giant shit show of stuff to do. So, I
Yeah,
just
it is
got
just starting
done.
to come down here.
See here, we got it kind of overnight in the morning, and so I woke up this morning and I'm like, man, I'm fucking tired. I was like not in a good mood. I had a long week. I had a big camp out last weekend and a huge road trip, and then I did a full week, and fucking I was really tired, and I woke up this morning just like not about it. And I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be a rain day. I'm going to do a whole lot of nothing. And then I was supposed to have my buddy over for steaks because it was his birthday yesterday or whatever. And then I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I got to go get parts. So I went to go get, and I was going to drop my my trailer's having a wiring issue, so I was going to drop it off with my buddy who's a mechanic, try to figure out what it is. I'm like, oh, well, I got to do those two things. So then I'll turn off that AC in a minute if you can hear it. And so I'm like, shit, I got to do two things. Well, that's not too bad.
I cannot.
And then
I cannot.
Okay.
By the way.
Well, good. Then I can stay cool. So then I go to fucking get the parts I ordered 4 days ago that were supposed to be in like 2 days ago. And they're still not there. Oh, they'll be probably Monday. And I need those parts to be able to work Monday. So I had to drive an hour away to go get the parts I needed, and then drop off a wiring harness at my buddy's, and then come home and change parts. And then my buddy came over. It was his birthday yesterday, so he came over for a steak and a glass of scotch. And fucking here I am. So like, I was just like I was looking forward to a day of doing nothing, and I definitely did like all of the things, and I was not about it. Yeah. I was saying today, like, I need a day off, but like not to go do fun things. Like I need what do you call that? Like a stay home and do fucking nothing all day, or just play with the kids.
Yeah. Well, I had our Eid al-Fitr on Friday, so Ramadan's over. I spent all that day kind of doing stuff related to that, fun stuff, eating a lot of Indian drinking all day. But I need 2 days just to
recover,
do admin work, catch up on some physical fitness, a bunch of podcasting stuff. So it's like a full weekend of stuff, but it's like stuff I want to do. But this weekend's going to fly by.
Yeah, we're going out with the family tomorrow. I'll probably go for a drive in the country, do a little guerrilla gardening maybe, and then maybe a hike or something. But I am also caffeinated up, sort of. Right now I'm drinking water, kefir, green tea, a couple different kinds of mushrooms, and something else. It's this like energy drink shit that my lady makes me, and it's pretty delicious. And it doesn't have too much caffeine in it, but it definitely fucking gives you a little kick in the ass. Oh,
well, I had 30 days.
Birthday
go
to
ahead.
anybody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I've had 30 days without going to a cafe or really having any kind of cool coffee.
Oh yeah,
beverages.
Ramadan. Right.
And so I got to go check out my cafes. There's all new baristas there, I've heard from a local friend, and yeah, it's nice to be back in my little routine. But I've got to do, like I said, I've got a lot of admin work to do. I've really not going to catch up on calling or texting or calling vendors until Monday. But it's just a lot to catch up on. My brain cannot work when fasting. I recorded some podcasts, but you know my output and stuff is just so low because the The body can function, the brain just cannot.
Yeah, I
Not
couldn't do
doing
what
that.
you're doing, especially not drinking. That's got to be rough.
Shuts off the brain for some reason. It really does.
Yeah.
It's all lizard brain.
So we are recording this on Earth Day. You're probably not hearing this on Earth Day, but happy late Earth Day. Earth Day to me is kind of whack because it should be Earth Day every day to me, but what the fuck do I know? And sorry we didn't release any content last weekend or record any content last weekend. I was away at, what did he call it? I don't know. I went to Rayo from the Free Republic of Pasnia from the Vano podcast. I went to his place and camped out for the weekend, which was a lot of fun. Kids loved it. We slept in a tent during a tornado watch, which was interesting, and the girls were kind of hysterical, but overall it was a fun time. But that's why we didn't record any podcasts. But I drove 8 hours one way and then 8 hours back, and then worked a full week, and I've been fucking exhausted all week. So I'm paying for it now, but that's why no podcast last week.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Jackie, how's things going with you?
Oh, yeah. Introduce the guest. Yes.
Oh, our guest is, Jackie, which you probably know. So I really don't have to do too much information. But Jackie from Road to Autonomy magazine and other things, but especially Road to Autonomy magazine, good friend of the show, of course. How are you?
Hey guys. It's so funny. I was listening in the background, kind of chuckling because you're fasting and you're working, and here I am smoking weed and drinking whiskey, joining you today. So I am like Debbie Downer to the rescue.
Hey, I
I'm
had a
not.
little glass of scotch earlier. I mean, I don't
I am.
really drink
I've had my-
either, so scotch,
I've
one
had my
glass of
drug of
scotch will do it.
choice. Yeah, I started my day with two energy drink, two monster lemonades, which
There you go.
my drug of choice. Yeah, and my drug of choice is actually, like I said, my drug of choice is actually little frilly coffee beverages at the cafe, and I got to do that finally. So support your local cafes. Not the
We don't
chains.
have. I was chuckling when you were saying that because I'm like, I live in the country. We don't have a cafe with a barista. We don't even have a coffee shop around here. There's
I've
gas
found
stations.
one before, but they're few and far between. I have wandered into a small town and found a cafe, but I got a panini, and I go, that's progress.
I have seen little diners and stuff that have decent coffee in like small towns. You know, it's not really like a coffee shop per se, but it's like a little diner with some decent coffee. That we don't have that either here, though. It's just like there is like a donut shop, and I've never been to it because I don't eat donuts, but they might have decent coffee there. I don't know. I make my own coffee, so I don't know.
Donuts.
Donuts. So Jack, Jackie's here. Hi, Jackie.
Hey
How's it
guys.
going?
Super good. How are you guys?
Have you listened to any? I'm doing all right. I'm kind of jazzed up and my brain's fried, but have you listened to any of our women in anarchism stuff?
I have not had a chance to listen to anything as of late, so I'm sorry.
Okay, it's no big deal. So, what we're doing is, for your benefit and the audience who may have not heard it, also, is we're interviewing women who are also anarchists and kind of getting their story and the perspective of a woman being a woman anarchist and that kind of stuff. So why don't you introduce yourself and give a little like origin story? Take another hit off the joint, and then
I was like, whoa, on the spot. Okay. Well, hey guys, I'm no stranger, so I don't know why the nerves all of a sudden, because
no, these people know who you are.
we know who we are. Okay, so my name is Jackie Kerouac. I run Road to Autonomy magazine. You can find said magazine on rtamagazine.com. And we are 3+ years in production, where we have really amazing authors from all over the United States and the world and really fantastic content regarding how to become, how to maintain, how to start out being autonomous. It seems like such a, we take it for granted, but we really shouldn't. And thanks to COVID, that was kind of like a hard, fast reminder as to how little autonomy we have. And so the magazine has been around for, like I said, about more than 3 years now, like 3 years and a quarter. And we were just trying to help the entire Earth for, i.e., Earth Day today, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, to become autonomous. The more your community rises, the more my community rises, the more we all rise and become non-governable by the government. Like, don't tell us what to do, and don't try and force our hand with incentives or money or whatever, because we're going to do it ourselves, our own way, in our own way. So that's who I am. And I'm happy to be here. Like, that's really exciting. Women in anarchism. That's there's a lot of us. I was just actually rapping with your girl Resonance earlier this morning about how there's a decent amount of anarchists with vaginas right now. And that's exciting because obviously women are the most superior gender between the two. Like, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman. So this is exciting, right? So I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's nice. It's an
I
honor
can
to
hear
be.
Resonance laughing downstairs. She's probably listening to the live stream.
She knows what's up. She knows. She's like, yo, this homie wouldn't have a fucking gardening business if it wasn't for me really running shit. Like, I hear you, girl. Roar loud. So yeah, it's exciting to be here to represent ovaries in the house. So yeah, I guess my origin story is I'm a lifelong anarchist. For those that don't know, I was never indoctrinated by the state. And actually, when I ran to the state as a kid several times, I was that one kid that falls through like every crack ever, and you're like, how does this even happen? Like, I was that kid. So the state repeatedly failed me. People that were put in charge to protect children failed, and I really got to see behind the veil. Just like that kind of trauma. And from a very early age, I knew that the state was not my friend. The state wanted something, and everything had a price. And often I couldn't afford that price. So I dropped out of school, my like third day into my 10th grade year. I became homeless. I moved out of my parents' house at the age of 15, and just kind of failed a lot. Like, I completely failed, but also succeeded in other ways. I failed at being a statist. I didn't do anything that society says that I should do. And even today, my path does not resemble someone that the state wants you to believe it should. So being a high school dropout, I got my GED. That's true. I did end up going to college for a couple of years, but I dropped out of college my also second year. And I just kind of have been making my own way, and have been really kind of encouraging people to break the law, I guess is the short version. And so the magazine is kind of like the way to not break the law, but also do things your own way. So we're not encouraging anyone to actually break the law in the pages of the magazine, but we are encouraging you to take back your power by growing your own food, sourcing your own proteins, getting out in nature and learning how to coexist with nature. Shout out to Mother Nature on Earth Day. But like really like empower our readers with maybe out of the box thinking. And we realize that autonomy is several dimensions, right? Like it's not a two-dimensional idea. I mean, people come to autonomy through lots of different reasons, lots of different paths. And so we want to honor all of those paths with ideas and tips and tricks and advice and what not to do for all angles, whether it be homeschooling, food sourcing, whether it be travel and or working in the gray area or being a business owner to get that side hustle going to alleviate you from the man, so to speak. So, that is who I am.
Okay, so you and I have talked about this before, and we have like weirdly similar upbringings, and I don't know, paths
You're my
to where we are.
brother. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
my brother. Yeah. We decided
But-
Sek and I are related. We're kin.
Something like that. Shit, now I forgot what. Oh, so, but what do you think would be like you as a woman, your unique perspective, and do you think that you being a woman has any effect on your attraction to anarchism or your perception of it or anything like that?
I feel like being a woman, for me personally, I can't speak for any other woman. Like, even though we all have vaginas, I definitely cannot be the voice for all vaginas. But speaking for myself, I would say being a woman is kind of like being a ninja. I'll explain. When you see chicks, like the common person, right? Like the common statist, we'll say, writes us off. Dumb girl, or, you know, whatever. Use whatever adjective you want to use. But like writes us off. Like, don't pay attention to her. Like, she's just a girl. They never see us coming, right? Because we're just girls. Just girls, okay, with the emphasis on just, as if we don't actually run this shit. But okay, we're just girls. I'll play along. I love that we're able to kind of do so much, but everyone else has already put us in the background. And so we can keep working without having to necessarily worry about ill attention by the state because, as aforementioned, we're just girls. So I love that. I think I resented it for a long time growing up as a young woman, as a teenager, as a girl. I think I really resented it, you know, like we're doing this like amazing shit. Like women all over. Resonance and I were talking about this earlier. There are women that are doing amazing things that are far more advanced than a lot of men and what they're doing. And I'm not saying that women are really, truly better, like kind of necessarily. I'm a
But
little
no, her
biased.
friend circles are doing like all kinds of dope shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. like
And
super
that's
low
what I'm
key.
talking about. Like these women are like massive movers and shakers. But do you hear about them always? No, not necessarily. I mean, of course we hear about them because they're in our circles. But the common fucking guy, no idea. Because again, we're just girls. So here we are doing amazing shit, pretty much being able to do way the fuck more than a man would be able to do because we don't draw as much attention to ourselves, right? So, like, speaking from experience, I have gotten away with things in my younger days that I don't know if just anyone could do. I really don't. And I've narrowly escaped a few times, but again, I'm just a girl.
Wow, this is really a sociological a facet of the sociological thing that we look at stuff like James Scott's Seeing Like a State and kind of all the various concepts that he lays out and others, about legibility and transparency, but just the idea of femininity, I guess, and how it's kind of a shroud of itself from authority because women kind of have different. I'm struggling to kind of think of how to word this concept, but women operate on a plane, that's kind of somewhat obscured from the outside sometimes. And this is not to like say to advocate any sort of particular cultural or gender roles or anything like that, but like traditionally and non-traditionally, women do kind of are like liminal in between worlds that the state does have maybe some either difficulty reading or like is just somewhat maybe not impenetrable or opaque, but like they don't always have the tools or ability to uh, kind of read and understand what's going on because so much of the focus is on men and what men are doing and stuff outside of the domestic sphere and everything. So that's a really interesting concept. I wonder if someone out there has a James Scott like fellow or gal has kind of expounded on that.
I don't
I
even know. I don't know.
can, I can give you an example in my own household. Uh, and not so I'm not saying this as a universal at all. This is just happens to be how our interpersonal dynamic works. I am much more of a dominant personality, and um, currently speaking, I am the sole breadwinner. So I make a lot of the decisions, and I make most of the money. But she's the one that keeps shit fucking running smooth. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And so, in a situation where there was a confrontation with the state, I'm the one that's going to go out shooting while she's got all the stuff ready to go to get the kids out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm the loud, aggressive one that's going to draw the attention of the state versus her very quietly sneaking the kids to safety. Or currently, my business is on the books, and I have a fucking podcast where I shout my ideas to the world. And so I'm the one that's going to get attention from the state.
Yep.
Meanwhile, she makes way more shit than I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I make, money and I help get the raw materials like in and out of the ground, right? But she's the one fucking with a chemistry set in our kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Making all the shit and endless side hustles and projects and whatever else. So that's a very clear example, I think, of what you're talking about.
Yes.
She's a fucking sleeper. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like she does,
Exactly.
in some sense, does way more than even I do.
Yep.
I think it's a very common concept too. I think that's a pattern that I think that needs to be expounded on if it hasn't been.
Fucking city dwellers.
Oh yeah,
Byron,
fire trucks going by. I know. Right when I wanted to say something.
no, so I think there's some truth to what you say, and I think that's true for a lot of the women that are in your in residence kind of friend circles. She's always telling me like, "Hey, this lady I know makes this. This girl I know makes this. This person's doing this with her kids or whatever the thing." And like, I'm like, "Damn!" Like just doers, movers, and fucking makers. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. And I think to your point, there's a lot of women that are both really solid, independent movers and shakers on their own. And there are other women that have become very big movers and shakers because they've been inspired by a partner. And I'm not saying one is better than the other by any stretch. I think it's amazing. And I think whatever inspires a female to just get the fuck out there and start doing things, man, that gets my legs shaking, you know? Like, you hear, like, in the dating world, I went on a date the other night and it was a fucking train wreck. But you hear in the dating world that everyone's so damaged, right? Like, either you've met them all or you've heard of people meeting them all, but like everybody seems like they've got issues, you know, like sex issue or sex idea that he brought up on the last time I was on the show, that it's like generational trauma that makes people so horrible to try and date.
You did the pun.
What's
You
the
meant-
pun?
You meant sec apostrophe S issue, but it sounds like sex issue. And it's hilarious every time. And I'm a child. Sorry.
It'll never beat Sex Lady. That's
Sex
the best
lady.
one.
Yes. Yeah.
Sex lady. Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. We're all fucked from intergenerational trauma. I believe that to be true. I think this all kind of stems from World War I, actually. I think that's why our society is continuously fucked generation to generation, because you had all these people coming home from the war, a war like the world had never seen before World War I. It was hell on fucking earth. So you had all these broken men coming home and then creating broken families and broken children, who then created our grandparents, and they were very cold and disciplinarian and abusive, and then that created our fucking parents. And you know, I think it's been on and on like that since World War One, maybe even earlier than that, really. And then basically, we have to break that cycle of abuse and trauma, you know. But that's been my theory going for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks. That date was so fucking gnarly. Like, I wanted to choke myself with my own ponytail. Like, that's how you know, like, fuck, this is not the path I'd like to keep walking. So, but whatever inspires the females to get out there and to learn the things and ask questions. There are so many women that I know, one, that are movers and shakers. Like, they are fucking doing it, man. They are like creating culture. They're creating revenue. They're creating interest. They're attractive as hell. They're well written, well spoken. They carry themselves well. You'd never be able to tell that bitch runs some shit. And I think that is so fucking cool. That like makes me just really happy. And there's a lot of women that are afraid, you know, afraid to ask questions, afraid to get out there, afraid to, you know, not like it, you know, or be in a position that makes you uncomfortable. And girl, there is so much shit that females in general put themselves in that's an uncomfortable situation. You might as well be doing something productive this time. Like, get out there. Like, ask questions. No one's going to judge you ill for asking questions. If anything, they're going to sit back and like, God damn, this girl is amazing because she wants to learn whatever. Change a tire, make a fire, build a water filtration device, garden, create a community to homeschool. Like, there are so many different categories that women have at their fingertips, and they can be so powerful. I just feel like I didn't understand this before, but truly use that gray man approach to your advantage. If people only see pretty blue eyes and really amazing hair, then let them, let them see what they want to see, and you just keep on doing the things. And that right there is like, that's what I'm all about. That's my whole life.
Yeah, you mentioned that gray man thing, which is basically what we've been talking about. I think, yeah, you ask anybody kind of in this, the underworld or the counter economy, as we like to call it, or like any cop, honestly, and they'll tell you that that is kind of how that works. Um,
Yep.
to the extent that you could like, try to, you got to be aware, people will realize that's how the thing works, but that's how the game works in general. I think women are automatically kind of gray. People don't
Yep.
expect the women. People don't necessarily go and search the women or suspect the women or follow them around, or they might have trouble because for whatever cultural reasons, or they might just feel embarrassed. And you know, like I said, women being in the domestic sphere, not just like Seth pointed out, not just in a intentionally traditionalist setting, but just because that's just how people playing to their strengths and advantages and interests, which there's nothing wrong with like we always say, there's nothing wrong with going along with gender roles because that's how things shake out. Um, but I think that is an advantage of womanhood and femininity to extent. There's a real shroud of mystery there, and I think there's nothing to be ashamed of about that, and women should take advantage of that when they can.
I agree. It was so hard understanding that growing up because I think for me personally, again, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me personally, growing up in my early 20s, late teens, I really wanted, like, hear me roar, like, I'm like coming up in this world and I have survived some shit and I am here and I want to make a splash and I want to be like noticed for like, damn, she's going for it. And it just wasn't happening. And so I'm like, I really resented it before. And so I think when we're young, we want kind of that. I don't know. We want that like it's not power, it's like recognition or acknowledgement, maybe validation that
Prestige.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was, but growing up you like want it, like people to notice me. But then the older you get, you're like, that's the last thing I fucking want. I don't want people to notice me at all because I can do so much more when I'm not noticed.
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And so I didn't understand that. And I don't know, maybe other women understand that whereas I didn't. Maybe other women like took it to their advantage right away. I'm not totally sure, but I definitely did not. It took me a long time. And actually my a friend of mine had said, like really, this is an advantage, and I couldn't understand it. But the older I get, I'm like, oh yeah,
I
it
think part of
is.
it is I'm going to speak in like broad general terms here, but oftentimes women are more mature and wise than men. So like when I was that age, I was young and aggressive and a fighter, and I'll crush anybody that gets in my way, and I was going to die fighting in the glorious fucking revolution or whatever the thing. And um I get older and wiser. I'm like, oh, that's fucking dumb. Shut up. Just go get some shit done on super quiet. Fucking chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? And do your
Yeah.
thing, and you'll be much better off. And it's probably just women figured that out way before I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just young and dumb, and you know what? You know what I mean? So, I think I chilled the fuck out and got older and wiser. And I think women, that just happens to women fucking earlier. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It might. It sure as hell didn't for me, but it might for other women. I was a late bloomer.
Do you have any thoughts on like feminism?
Oh, like you got to define the term, like modern feminism or
I
like
don't care what kind of
traditional.
feminism.
It's
Whatever you want, you have thoughts on.
I don't dig the mainstream idea, traditional or new idea of feminism. I don't dig it. It is not my jam. And I think the reason it's not my jam is because it's so like one-sided. It's not realistic. It's got a whole lot of like the world owes me a living attached to it. And I don't dig on being like I joke about being superior, right? Like it's totally a joke. Most of the time. Sometimes it's not a joke, and I'll be honest about that. I'm working on
Because we
that.
all know I'm actually the superior gender.
Oh shit.
No, not men,
Please.
just me.
Gingers can't be. That's a known fact. So
Gender supremacy.
it's like you can't. Like you're already disqualified.
We are the master race.
Shit. Ugh, you are the scary people. Anyway, I think well now I just lost track of what I was saying because I'm
I mean, my
broken
ancestors were
high.
going into battle on mushrooms, just for the record. But
Zach, you look like your ancestors.
You
I kind of do.
look
I just showed. Oh, just for the record, I just showed Penguin. I'll send it to you too, Jackie. The girls French braided my hair, and I look like somebody out of the fucking show, The Viking. I'm like, I'm ready to go, like, put an elk fucking horned helmet on and take some mushrooms and go berserker. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look. Pretty awesome, actually. But it hurt my head, and I was like, fuck this. Get this out of my hair.
That's funny.
Anyway, oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Fuck.
I don't know what I was
You don't
saying
like
either.
feminism. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
anyways, you were talking about feminism, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
just to just to segue on segue not segue but continue the topic. Yeah, I think I get exactly what you were saying, and I just think that the this whole modern notion of girl boss feminism, which is um, really much derided by like the smarter people and the smarter commentators out in the world. It's really a joke, and but it's the big mainstream kind of mid level IQ take on. Well, but it's a very infantile way of viewing gender and female empowerment and all that stuff. Like
Shocking.
it's
Penguin, you don't
very,
agree that we
very
need more Yes Queen Slay girl boss drone operators?
I mean, we're so far into like the main the culture, the societies and cultures mainstream view of womanhood and femininity being such an absolute joke that's trashed by anybody with any level of like intelligence or ability to analyze the world around them, that pretty much anybody with half a brain that can actually record a decent podcast or write a cool, a short think piece or even an interesting thread on Twitter can just absolutely trash that. And yet, it's this is what passes for quote unquote progressivism in our society. But we are progressing more in a sense by I don't like to really say we're progressing. I don't like the whole idea of like idealistic like teleology, but we are doing so much more by looking at these concepts not through that kind of lens or any X wave feminism, but by simply just having this kind of open discussion about what it means realistically to be a woman and what what femininity actually entails, and it's really is not ought discussion.
What the fuck does it mean to be a woman?
I don't know.
I've never
There's a lot
asked
of other
that
there's a lot of
question
other
before.
there's a lot of other controversy about that, but just in the role, the role of the woman, ignoring some of the m- more rancorous, uh, ideological debates about that. I think that it's great that we're doing this series to kind of expound on what it means, at least in our milieu. And I think it's entirely. I think what we're talking about is entirely universal, entirely not just related to our milieu. That like we are we're discussing what it really means to be a woman in our daily life, and in living in this environment where we're dealing with this kind of universal state, this universal concept of the state that kind of exists in every corner of the globe, more or less, with some partial exceptions. Pretty much, and women exist in pretty much every part of the globe except most of Antarctica. Um, I think it's really interesting to kind of. I don't think we're breaking new ground, but we're having a real frank discussion without any kind of baggage on political controversy. And I think that's, if nobody has kind of written a James Scott esque um, piece about the shroud of mystery of the feminine and the I don't even want to say domestic role, because that just includes so much baggage from like various waves of feminism. I think, and I'm sure this has been done, but I think we're really kind of pointing out something that's incredibly useful to our listeners and our potential listeners.
Yeah, sure.
Let me take the other side of this for a second, because so let's see. So I think there's some value in feminism. Um, I don't dig a lot of the, we need more girl boss CIA operators and stuff, but um, that's not my jam, but to me, as like an individualist, feminism is like redundant in the sense that like I support the liberation of all individuals, full stop, no matter who they are, live to their fullest potential, etc. And in some sense, like what you were talking about earlier, Jackie, where like society at large kind of just like writes you off because they think you're like a dumb girl or whatever. That
Yeah.
it, in some sense is like a feminist critique, right? Because that's like the being I don't want to say oppressed, but being uh, having a certain perspective like sort of forced upon you by like the dominant culture, right? So like in some sense like that is really like a feminist critique of society as a whole, and like you as a strong independent individualist woman just sought to sort of use that to your advantage or overcome that in some way. And so to me, like I can appreciate feminism, but in the like on the grand scheme of things, it's like for me it's redundant because I don't care, who you are. I don't want anyone oppressed by state, culture, anything of the sort, money, any of that. So um, I support the full liberation of every single fucking human on the planet. So what are your thoughts on that? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I would agree with that by and large, except I am pretty biased. But no, yeah, I think I am. My audience for the magazine is everyone: boys, girls, men, women,
Mhm.
whatever, whoever. I don't care. But like when I talk about inspiring other women, I'm talking about growing girls or women that are finding their autonomy. I want to not only want equal everything for everybody. Yes, I want the same thing. I want everybody to be free. I want everyone to have the same level of freedom. I don't want anyone to be oppressed. But the fact of the matter is, how I personally perceived how I was treated and how I see other things happening, of, sex example as well. It happens, and I think instead of fighting it, we use it to our advantage. And so, yes, I want the same things that you do, Sec. However, I also want to speak to the female audience and encourage them to keep going if they're already on the path, and to find the path if they're not. And I assure you, just a girl is not a weakness as far as I have been able to tell. And it's not an excuse.
Yeah, I have two comments on that. First of all, like this whole idea that like people view women and girls as being, just a girl, um, and particularly, authority figures of people higher in a hierarchy or whatnot, or people involved in the state, but just I guess authority figures in general. That's a common narrative I think that's always existed as long as like narratives has existed. That's a normal common thing, and just because maybe it's just something that's maybe falling by the wayside because other narratives have taken place. But that's what we're talking about. We're just rediscovering an extremely common, one of the core narratives I think of like storytelling in general, and like I really am inspired by what you just said, where it's like, let's not try to fight this or make this have a political fight over this. Let's talk about how you can not only accept it but use it to your advantage, because it's again a common narrative throughout history. And I also think that, just to push back on the feminism thing a little bit, I think that, the idea that women in traditionally in all realms of society, pre-industrially, I think that is not the lowest point of like women's power in the world. I think, we saw gender roles most hardened in kind of the industrial age and Victorian age and whatnot, maybe in response to some things or another. But women have strong roles in I think normal pre-industrial society. It's just in another realm, and um, there's nothing comparable to modern day. But I think that it's just in another realm that's kind of closed off from that of men, and that's okay, because that leads to some you know very distinct disadvantages, but distinct advantages as well.
My lady got out of like 2 tickets getting pulled over by cops by just playing into like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, just dumb girl. I'm like, yeah, just play that card every single time, and they'll just
Yeah,
let you off. They do it every time.
comedians would joke about that's what white people go through, but I guess I don't know. I guess women are the white people of gender.
But they can definitely play that card like, oh, I'm so, oh, duh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. They're just like, oh, and start crying a little. So I'd like
Oh
to just
yeah.
play into that.
Oh
Who
yeah.
cares?
100%. I've done that in the past when I was younger. I've absolutely done that. Now I'm just like, I'm reluctantly compliant, just enough through like my grinding teeth that I can I can leave. It's
Yeah,
hard to
I mean, do
flirt
it.
when your jaw's clenched.
Right, right, right. No, I didn't. I never told her to flirt, but I told her to just be like, "Oh, just play dumb. Just every single time you ever deal with the cops, just like play dumb."
It's true. It's true. Girls get away with so much, like we're just like so innocent, like, oh, she's a mom. She's, like I fucking love that shit. Are you shitting me? Like, man, some of the biggest fucking movers and shakers are parents, like female moms. And they inspire the shit out of me. So many women do. And so that's why being on this series is really rad, because I get to stand tall with some really freaking outstanding women. And that's a big honor. So That's rad.
Yeah, we've had some uh, heavy hitters so far, and
I don't even
we got
doubt it.
some more coming. There's quite a few. Just
I love it.
fucking dynamite. I mean, so far we had residents and our friend, Ray.
Right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep wanting to call her by her real name.
I
So
don't want to. I don't want to have to edit. I don't want to have to do
I
any
don't
more
know,
editing on
no
this
editing.
podcast.
You almost had to. I was almost
Every
like shit. Yeah.
That's
Anyway, so
awesome.
that's that near
as the whole.
third, and we've got some other bangers coming. So
That's outstanding. Well, I think that's outstanding. I am super just jazzed to be on the show. It's always good to talk to y'all and to hang out with you guys. It's a good time.
for real, Penguin, did I just interrupt you? Were you saying something?
No, I was going to make a joke about how I hate audio editing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't make
That
me
sucks.
have to find. I actually have a little timestamp here, but don't make me have to find that when you say her name.
I know. I've done that many times. I don't know why that happens, but excuse me.
Just put like a honk in there and just honk over it. Just honk.
Mm,
So something I've asked everybody that's been on this series so far is there's a common belief or a common narrative that there's very few women anarchists or libertarians, and there's also the joke that like there are no women anarchists, they're just all feds, and then or honeypots or whatever, and then but that I hear that narrative a lot, and but then I also know a shit ton of women anarchists, so it's like something is not, for me personally, doesn't make sense, or maybe I just travel in different circles. I don't fucking know. But what are your thoughts? Why do you think there is that perception? Is it the fucking sleeper again? Is it the gray man thing? Or
Yeah,
what is that?
100%. 100%. Like that's like exactly my point. Like the narrative is there are none, or they're like a unicorn, or they're just a myth, or like whatever. Like that's like the narrative that they want you to believe. And that's when I was younger, I used to fucking hate that because I'm like, I'm not a goddamn unicorn. I'm right fucking here. Like I'm like as here as ever. And like when you're invisible and you're like, hello, can anybody see me? That was my life. Like there are no women anarchists. Man, I've been an anarchist and like a mover and a shaker longer than most people have been anarchists their entire lives, right? Like I've been doing this since the 80s. And I'm kind of young, kind of, sort of. That's, debatable, but whatever. Like, I,
not as old as that makes you sound, I guess.
yeah, right. so, um, so, um, that's like the narrative. Like there are none, or they're all taken, or they're feds, or whatever. Like I've been here since since the start of me.
Well,
I've been in the movement.
this goes back to a lot of what residents actually brought up during her appearance on this show. That I can't say this without I can't say this in a vacuum without kind of in my mind referring to that episode. But like a lot of the times, if you're talking about social media or elsewhere, but we live in a very social media centric world, of course, for better for worse. But like a lot of the times when people make the joke about feds or something, it's a woman, a ostensibly female persona that is presenting herself in a way that is obviously, meant for the male gaze or a male audience, or like presenting herself as, in this case,
Hot.
an anarchist, presenting herself as an anarchist in a very male way that isn't necessarily reflective of how a woman organically would represent herself as an anarchist in as far as like her interest and what brings her to that position. And I guess when someone who's just like, when someone presents a persona that's basically built for the male gaze, as they say in, I don't know, feminist literature, whatever, that it does seem suspicious. And I don't think that's generally organically how women come to this sort of philosophical position. And I think that, I think it's very true. I think that's what people are generally referring to, whether they know it or not. I mean, they have that much experience in commenting on that kind of thing. I think that's what they're referring to. I don't think women come to this position in the same way that the male brain does.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not come to this decision the normal way, but it was very normal for me. So I don't know how women arrive here. I know how I arrived here, but I really don't know by and large how others arrived here. But I'm going to guess it's because they flew under the radar and they were either let down by the state or they were hurt by the state. I mean, just like men, like a lot of men come to the same conclusion because they're also abused by the state. But women, I think, experience a different kind of like almost neglect almost when it comes to the state, like discarded, poo-pooed, because they're girls, because they're victims, because they're whatever. And I think me, at least, I came to this conclusion because it was the only thing that made sense. Like I had been let down all the time, and often the reason I got was, well, you're a girl. So I don't know. I just I don't know how other women got here, but like
Yeah, I don't want what I said to be taken the wrong way either. I just think that, there are narratives that are much more of a male narrative that might just be very much into. There's plenty of males that have been let down by the state and have been had events in their lives or traumas kind of pushed them towards this kind of
sure.
position. But often it's very much an ideological bent toward a very ideology heavy kind of thing. It's political radicalism. It's really being into, I don't know, self liberation or that's vague and actually applies to women too. But like guns or various foreign policy or something like that, which I'm sure women can absolutely be experts on and everything. But I think generally the narrative that we've heard so far in the Women of Anarchism series is a very inspiring narrative of like real organic experiences that show a very different facet of, I think, how women kind of get into ultimately kind of the same headspace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a woman's journey is really more different than a man's journey. I think it's just more unexpected because we're not told it's coming. We're often kind of not paid attention to until we've already done the things. And I think that's been my experience anyway. But I do a totally different thing than a lot of other women, or at least I used to. And so it was very unique to have a woman doing what I was doing. And I think it's still very unexpected when we hear today, we can have 1,000 women in our circle that are all doing magnificent things, and it's still kind of like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, I put a lot of weight on history, and historically, there's not been like a shortage of women anarchists.
No, there's not, and there's still not. We're everywhere. We are fucking everywhere. We're just quiet, and If you
Not
want
all
to
of them
look
are
at
in
like,
quiet
well, okay, that's
either.
true. That's
Some of the
very
most
true.
vocal anarchists, also in the American tradition, in the American,
That's
anarchist
true.
history, have been women. Well, I'm sure that no, what you're saying is very, very much true as far as the narrative of the average rank and file woman anarchist. But just pointing out that some of the most vocal women anarchists, and I have a fairly short list of them. I'm certainly no expert. I'm sure we'll expound more on that as we go into the series. But yeah, I mean, it's I put a lot of weight on history. That's just my personality, and I just think that historically, I think having this attitude that like there's what we talked about before. This is sort of basically misogynist attitude, which might just come from pretty much base level misogyny in many cases, but also uh, it's just not historically grounded at all.
I think I think it probably depends because there are times that I am not quiet also. There are times that I am, but I would say the times that I am not quiet, I get away with a lot more than a man would.
Yeah,
I
but I mean, what are we talking about? Quiet. You have a magazine, so I think
right?
you're vocal to an extent. Um, yeah, you think you're pretty vocal to a pretty large extent.
Well, I mean, the magazine is like, I feel like the magazine is like a legit, like, thing, like mainstream approved thing, probably. I mean, I have no idea, but in my opinion, it probably is. But like, when I was super not like quiet, I was super younger, right? And not really so much into the protests necessarily, but like definitely you're going to hear if I'm unhappy. And so I think women get away with a lot more. Like there's a couple things that I've done that if I was a dude, I'd probably be shot on sight. But because I was a girl, I wasn't. I was arrested. And I think there are some things that women get away with. They're like, well, not always, because I mean, history, women have been hanged also. But I think, like we can be the part when we need to be to kind of skirt the lines sometimes. And so some of the very vocal women, I think, definitely got some pretty severe penalties later on, but they got away with quite a bit up until that point. So I just say use it to your advantage. Like,
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about the magazine, also, I do think it's absolutely good to. It's absolutely fine, acceptable, in a lot of cases, praiseworthy to put out, especially put out public facing stuff. If you're going to be vocal publicly, to put out stuff that's I mean, you described it as kind of mainstream approved, but just stuff that just has an air of respectability, and maybe not only respectability, and maybe a broad appeal and mass appeal. There's nothing wrong with that, and also where keeping some of your cards up your sleeves. There's a private realm and a public realm. I don't think there's. I would not. I would say that there's plenty of good to be said about being a radical, that can put forth a public face that isn't you need to go out and shoot cops or whatever. Actually,
yeah,
don't
yeah,
like that guy. I really don't like those kind of people, because it's like, well,
yeah,
you're able to just go and out and just say that, and nobody's one thing. You're probably I don't know. This is another whole nother rant, but respectability, a very low threshold baseline level of respectability in public discourse, I think, is pretty good, because there is a for some personalities an underappreciated difference between the public realm and the private realm, and
hmm
I have no problem putting forth a certain form of my outspoken views that's much more relatable publicly, and is based a lot in various forms of orthodoxy and philosophy that people can more people. I mean, you're speaking to an audience, so more people can relate to, and there's more of a discourse to be had. And then there's a private realm that's much more action oriented, and there's nothing wrong with going through life. I think keeping male or female, by the way, keeping a lot of your cards up your sleeves.
Yeah, I think that's something that some people get really, really quickly in life, and others don't. And I don't know. I think if the quicker you can get that concept, the better off you'll be. But I don't know if it's a rite of passage. I think it definitely was for me because I think I'm the type of fucking kid that you tell me that the stove is hot and motherfucker, I'm going to touch that son of a bitch anyway because I'm gonna see, is it actually hot? And I'm the most stubborn asshole that doesn't listen that you will ever learn in your entire life. I I am the most stubborn, hard-headed person ever. So
I think a
I don't
good
know.
deal of this is meant to come with age. And I don't mean age, I really just mean maturity. But basically with age.
Yeah.
There's something about youth that we know we know that there's youth, there's hormones, there's tempers. And I think a lot of this is just meant to come with age. And that's why there's nothing wrong with a benign and reasoned we might call ageism, but just, understanding that, like, when I talk to people who are, in their teens, I'm like, you're not in the same mindset as someone 10 years or 20 years older than you are, obviously 10 years younger,
Yeah.
but whatever. And that's fine. But like, also you might go through five or six more changes in your philosophy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it just, that's just probably going to happen. And I'm not finished going through those with myself, and I may never, but there's nothing wrong with understanding that there's good that obviously can come from a certain kind of brashness and um brashness and whatever that comes with youth, and there's something that comes with kind of wisdom and like forbearance that you get with age.
I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
So something something I've heard from a number of women, kind of this kind of goes into the maturity thing, right? Is that and I think Resin has made a similar point, but in certain anarchist spaces, they're sort of filled with like, I don't know, thirsty, unfuckable douchebags. We'll say people that
Yeah.
people that don't that I don't think have the emotional. And I'm listen. I'm not trying to like look. Okay, I am talking down on people or whatever, but or talking shit. But and in some sense, I don't really like. It's not entirely their fault. This kind of goes back to the like fucking intergenerational trauma, and they just haven't worked through their own shit, and they don't have like in my opinion, they don't have like the emotional maturity yet to actually even ever live in an anarchist society, right? But I think that's a large reason why you don't see women in these spaces because they kind of just get, I don't know what the word is for, not scared away, but just like they don't
Like
want to deal with that shit.
chased out.
Chased
Yeah,
out.
no,
There you
yeah,
go.
for real.
They're just like,
Facebook, that
fuck
was for
this, I'm
real.
out. You know what I mean? And I definitely saw this a lot when I was like online more, all the fucking time. So it's the type of dudes that like in real life, you'd be like, dude, why are you fucking acting like that? Get out of here. You know, like I don't understand where that comes from. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't dudes that are just all theory and no like sort of like emotional maturity. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But have you found similar things like that? And also, then we'll give you a quick break. Are you gone already? She's gone already. Penguin, does this
Oh, I
make?
need one too. I need one too.
All
Yeah,
right, let's
I'll be right
everybody
back.
take 5. Cool. All right.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I had to pee.
No, we're taking 5. Everybody's doing pee break.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I went, y'all, so it felt real good. Shout out to all the ladies out there. Uh, we're taking 5, I know, but like, I just want to say, like, if you're a lady, big love. If you're a mover and a shaker lady, look me up. Let's talk. I need some more vaginas in the magazine. It's like a sausage fest right now. I can say that. I can say that. It's a women's show. It's like all about empowerment. So if you're a lady and you're doing the things, RTA Magazine wants to hear from you. Reach out to Jackie at rtamagazine.com. Message me. Like, I take all kinds of content. I take audio, I take video, I take demonstrations, I take recipes. I take photos of the kiddos making seed bombs because that's my jam. I take it all. Don't be shy. I know. You ladies are running the things. There's no secret. I know. Wink. Your secret's safe with me. But if you've got something to share, like if you found a really great recipe to pickle bamboo shoots or cattail shoots, let me know. Other people need to know these things. Right? That's the humanitarian thing to do. I'm not much of a nurturer, but I definitely try and nurture my community. Right? Kinda. Don't drink and podcast, kids. God, these guys pee a lot, right? Like, I thought I had to pee. Holy moly. No porn in RTA. That's true. Let's keep it clean, folks. You can send your naughty pictures to me, but they won't be published. I'll definitely critique them, though, if you'd like. What? That's... No. Stay on topic. Stop it. Mind out of the gutter. I'm talking with residents while these gents drain the canteen. Well, maybe women have the canteen, men have the... I don't know.
All right, I'm back.
I'm back.
Jeez, did you have to go to the gas station to pee?
I went and peed outside and smoked half a cigarette.
Oh, okay. Like,
All right, well, let's finish the thought and kind of wrap this up, though. But do you think the situation I described, the way I kind of picture is, I don't know, I used to party a lot when I was a kid, right? And every now and then there's this dude at a party. He's fucking he smells like Bud Light. He's fucking groping on every woman there, starting fights, being loud, a douchebag. Nobody wants to be around him. He just can't fucking like handle himself, right? And nobody wants him there. He's just ruining the fucking good time. This, I think, is the same like person we see a lot in certain like anarchist spaces, right? And so maybe it's chasing away like any decent humans. You know, we used to call
I
them
have
frat
a
boys or
question.
bros.
I have a question. I'm interrupting you now because I have
Go
a
for it.
question. I'm sorry, that was rude as fuck.
No, you're good.
I think that guy exists in every single group on planet Earth, on
For
every
real.
single continent, every single country. That guy is real, and he breeds somehow. I'm not sure how, but there are lots of him. And when he hits and groats and like makes a nuisance of himself to hot women at a club, they don't leave the club and stop being a hot woman. They don't immediately put on 50 pounds and put a moo on. Like that doesn't happen. Like, so I feel like the same thing is happening in real life. Like those guys are in every circle. And do they chase us out of certain groups? Yeah, maybe. Do we stop being a fucking mover and shaker hot chick? Like anarchist? Nope. We just leave that group. So, yeah.
Yeah, you mean some dissident ideological group has an incel problem? I think that's just, I think yeah, I think every online heavy dissident ideological group has a millions must die incel issue, and it preceded the internet or social media, and it's an archetype that just has, yeah, it's just something that plays itself out. And I see a lot of stuff comes up on my timeline about, like, for example, from all over the place, but especially, just an example, leftists always talking about this kind of issue, and like they're always talking about sex pests for some reason. They always use the word sex pests and abuse and gaslighting and whatever else, and trying to rid that from out of their movement. And I think that's great. They may be like people that are, at least in their context, in their ideology, but also in general sense, more well adjusted, want to basically chase out less well adjusted people, at least of a sort, just because they're chasing out good, for example, in this case, women or females or female identifying people or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I do think that is something that kind of transcends this exact milieu, or this exact thing. And I don't know what happens to those men. I don't like the increasing alienation of young men in the kind of post-industrial setting that we have. But I also think that this is something that's kind of fairly universal.
Yeah, these people are everywhere. And they don't have to be men even anymore. I ran across a couple like female types, and I was like, no shit. So yeah, no, I think these people, I think something happens, I think, to those people. Like in the movie Blade, like some guys don't get turned into vampires, they get turned into something else. I think that happens sometimes with people.
Hey, that's not a bad metaphor, actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hormones, like either you figure out how to ride the wave, or it turns you into like a golem type thing. And unfortunately, not everybody makes it, man. Not
Not everybody's gonna make it.
everybody makes it, man.
Millions must die. um, anyways, no, I've never seen Blade. I'm not a movie guy at all. I'm so bad on movie references.
You've never seen Blade?
Yeah,
That's on
It's
like any
worth a
movie.
watch. It's not amazing, but it's a good movie.
He's a
Yeah, I've never seen
taxivator.
any
That's
movie.
that's something.
Oh,
I don't
Snipes.
watch.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Wesley Snipes. Is he still in prison?
I don't
I
think so.
don't know.
I don't
Free
think so,
Wesley
but
Snipes.
I'm guessing he's still a taxivator to some extent. He just got smarter at it.
Hired better lawyers. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "You guys suck. I'm doing it this way."
Well, before we
Vampires
wrap
don't have
up,
to
do
pay
you
taxes.
have any? You are about my age. We're old heads. Do you have any parting wisdom to, let's say, young anarchists in general, but young women that are kind of heading this direction? You got any words of wisdom from an old head?
Oh man, no pressure. All right,
All the pressure. All
I'm
the
gonna
pressure.
think I'm gonna think in terms of what I tell my daughter and or what I would tell someone else's daughter. I think that's how I'm going to approach this because I have a daughter, and feeling like an empowered woman is very important. Uh, and not again to say that women are superior, fuck all that, but women, because they're discounted so much, they forget how amazing they can be. They forget their potential. And I would definitely like to speak to all of the daughters out there, all of the growing women, all of the girls that are finding their way and that are seeing this society approved woman and seeing like maybe their mom. And I want to tell you that there is an unspoken power to women like your mom over the society approved magazine, TV show, actress lady. Your mom is doing amazing things. She is trying to inspire average people, people that are just like you, people that are just like your neighbors. And she is doing it in such a compassionate way that she doesn't care what they came from. She doesn't care what path they're on. She just wants to help them rise. And look to that as strength, as inspiration, as you find your path. There is so much power in helping your community rise. There is so much power in creating a voice for yourself. And there is so much power in finding your own way. Maybe the destination is the same, but the path is completely unique. And be brave, because there's a lot of people out there that will tell you you can't, or you're just, or you're not enough, or where's your dad, or whatever. Like, just keep going and keep asking questions and find the other women that are doing the things. And maybe they're not as vocal anymore. They're still out there and they still would love to hear from you because they used to be you. And I think that's it.
So this is going to sound like a humble brag, but it's actually the source of a lot of my fucking gray hair. So I'm our personality. You and I, Jackie, our personalities are very similar in the sense that you were saying earlier. You're very stubborn and independent, and doesn't take shit from anybody. Does things your own way, and does it things usually the hard way, and learns it. That's how you learn. And does a bunch of stupid shit along the way and whatever, and put yourself at risk and get yourself in dumb situations. And so I raised two boys. They're grown men now. And my 2-year-old daughter is more like that than my two grown boys. She's more like me in that way than my two grown boys ever were. Like at 2 years old. One of the common phrases she says is, "No, me do it. Leave me alone. Me do it." And then like she'll struggle to do it, and then just get angry and throw the thing. And that's, I'm like, oh my god, that's me. That's fucking totally was me as like a young person. I'm still that way. I just like I have a slightly better handle on it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, oh god, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? I'm so sorry. I cursed you with that stubborn, like, won't ask for help, will fucking just struggle until you're dying before you ask for help kind of a situation. And like in some sense, like that can be like, that's a really good attribute, but sometimes it can be like self-harming as well, you know? So it's like kind of a double-edged sword.
You got to learn how to ride the Bronco early as fuck. Otherwise, you're going to be shitting in a bag the rest of your life.
Yes. So in some sense, I'm really proud of her because she's going to turn out to be a really fucking strong woman, you know? But the other sense of like, oh God, like, oh fuck, no, stop. Let me help you, please. Let me help you. Like, you're gonna get hurt. Like just gray hair all in my beard and in my head, heart attack. I'm gonna die at 45. Like just from jumping off the fucking couch, like into the dresser and whatever else. No, I can do it.
Talk to your lady pretty often, and I hear her in the background, and I'm like, "Oi, fucking A, man! I am super glad I did my time."
She's like my little, like she's like the spitting image of me. It's fucking insane how crazy that is, because that means at some level that's like fucking genetic, which is super weird to me. I didn't put much stock into that beforehand.
Your adorableness. No, it's very prevalent in your kid for sure.
But my other two boys, not so. I mean, they're strong, independent, but they're just not like as fucking stubborn as I was. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, they can handle themselves, but they're not that same like rage / stubborn / pig-headed that I like. I don't know.
No,
So
girls are on another level, and I
for
can
real.
they are fucking for sure. Developmentally, they go through like 6 rings of hell to become a woman. Like it's wild. Like the period is only level 1. They go through 5 more levels after that, man. And like girls are fucking intense. So that's part of when I was growing up, I would get so upset. Like, do you have any idea what I have to fucking go through to be a woman? Like, and I'm still in the background. That's part of my resentment was because like women fucking go through it. Okay. And, women are hardcore. Like women in school, just think of public school. Who was more vicious, the boys or the girls? The fucking girls every single
the
time.
girls were the dudes were more physical. The girls were way more vicious. Like
they were
fucking
vicious.
cutthroat shit.
Yeah. Like poison the fucking drinking water. Like
Yep,
just unheard of shit.
Just fucking give you diarrhea by poisoning your fucking lunch shit. So you shit your pants. It's way worse than getting your ass kicked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Women are like warfare on another fucking level, okay? Like if you do a woman wrong, she has already calculated like 15 ways to kill you in the next like 3 days. And like women are like some shit. They are ninjas, man. I'm telling you. Like your lady could just smother you in your sleep and you just wouldn't be none the wiser. And like women hold all of the cards.
They hold a lot of the cards, but I feel sorry for anybody that crosses my girls because
your youngest one older, especially. Fuck, dude.
They're fucking brutal.
Your younger one will use them as fertilizer, 100%.
Seriously, she probably already knows how to dispose of a body. You know what I'm saying?
Like, fucking does. It's like, Mom taught me how.
Those chemicals Mom makes. Yeah, those will work. Let's try those. All right. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I'm fucking tired and old. I've had a long week, man. Leave me alone. Any final thoughts, Jackie, or stuff to plug? You rebooted the podcast again. It's been the one episode I heard was fucking awesome. So
I had a rad guest, Rex from We Church. It was a good time. Yeah, I revamped it all by myself, which was going back to that being autonomous business. Like when you just have to kind of get back on it. And I got back on it. So, but yeah, please check us out. rtamagazine.com. rtamagazine.com. You can find RTA Radio on your favorite podcatcher. You can also listen to us on the website as well as the monthly magazine. We come out every single month with a mostly unique theme, but absolutely unique articles from really amazing people. Some published authors, some that absolutely should be but aren't, and some that are doing amazing things that just kind of drop by from time to time. We've got a lot of content, over 3 years worth of magazines that come out every month. So I think we're on 41 issues coming up on. So really check us out. If you've got something that you think other people should benefit from knowing, please let me know at Jackie@rtamagazine.com.
Nice. And our buddy Kumo's writing for you guys now, which is fucking sweet. Glad.
He is such a sweetheart. Holy moly. He's
Oh,
been
such a nice dude.
fantastic. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yes. He has been just an outstanding contributor. He joins the ranks of Josiah Warren and Pat Henry, to name just a couple. And he has been fantastic to work with. His articles have been really, really inspiring. And I love kind of the angle that he takes. So it definitely is a breath of fresh air, and I dig it.
Yeah, he's a good writer, and he's got a different perspective, a different style of writing, or a different way of going about it, like different sort of subject matter a little bit. But
100%.
Yeah,
He
I
has
dig
a
it.
very artist kind of take on things, and a
Yeah,
very
for
out
real.
of the box, kind of very hedonistic innocence to his writing, which is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's dope. All right, well, thanks for coming on again, dude. And it's always a blast. Everybody be excellent to each other. Penguin, you got anything else, man?
Hit us up on Twitter. Go on Twitter and find our telegrams. Join our podcast telegram channels, and our definitely check out and like our tweets at Agora_pod. If you're a Twitter head, you can totally do that and get our feeds, latest episodes. And if you really want the up to date stuff, join our Telegram channels where we drop our latest episodes, show announcements. You can discuss stuff with the fans, I think, but you can definitely do that if you're a patrons. Have access to our patrons only content, Q&As, and I much appreciate your contributions, and you get ad free episodes before the public releases gets anything. So please do some of those things or all of them. We would appreciate any contributions, word of mouth, pimp our podcast, retweet, do what you can.
Yeah, you're way better at remembering to bump that shit than I am. All right, everybody, peace. It was Jackie again. Thanks for coming on. Your perspective is always valuable, and everybody be good.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day, guys.
All right, peace.
Ciao.